Ken Cuccinelli, a big guy making this happen, of course, a former devotee and have served in the Trump administration right now, working to raise what could be a record amount of money for the Florida governor. He joins us now. Ken, very good to see you. This commitment is at least $100 million, could be $200 million. If you throw in the 80-some-odd million that the governor has in excess campaign funds from when he ran for re-election. I mean, you add that to the 18 million he has already raised, he won't be short of money.
Yeah. No, the governor has been not only a great grassroots builder, but he has also been a great fundraiser. And in this race, he's limited by the federal election laws, but the super PAC that I participate in leading, Never Back Down, is not. And we have been successful in the fundraising front, and we've also been successful in the grassroots front. We've already knocked on over 20,000 doors in Iowa. No presidential campaign has ever done that at this point. Heck, the presidential campaign doesn't even exist yet, and we've knocked on over 20,000 doors. So we're building a movement and organizing a movement that this governor has inspired with his determined attack on every policy issue that matters to conservatives and grassroots Republicans across the board, whether it's taxes and debt, life and families, protecting our children from the woke mob in schools and against corporations, something where there's a big difference between him and the presidential field as it stands that you and I have talked about, actually. But that's a great contrast as he comes into this race with very high favorability ratings and a lot of upside potential, especially for America. And we're very excited to see him kick this campaign off, and we're excited to help him build this movement.
What has Donald Trump's reaction been to you going with Governor DeSantis? You might have heard a thing or two that he does not appear to be a fan of the governor.
I have heard a thing or two, and of course he was a fan until he wasn't. You know, that's the way that goes. I'm not picking this for personal reasons. The president views everything through a personal lens. And for me, the decision was what is best for America. And millions of other people are coming to the same conclusion that I have, that the track record of Governor DeSantis' leadership moving the needle on everything that matters most to our country today, including the cultural battles, which so many other Republicans leave behind, and he does not. He wins them, are so important and so inspiring. That's why I decided to go with Governor DeSantis. It's not because he's my pal and Trump isn't. I like the president. I liked working for the president. We're pursuing good policies. I think they could have been pursued a whole lot better, a lot more capably and competently, like they've done in Florida. And I look forward to that high-quality leadership for 8 years in the White House, starting in January of 2025 with Ron DeSantis.
All right, so you intimated it. You had discussions with Donald Trump post this endorsement now that you're raising money for him. I'm sure that just added salt in the wound for the former president. Did he curse you out? Did he get angry?
Well, I was polite about it.
Well, I'm sure you were, but was he polite in his response? He was.
Okay. It was very brief. It was via text. And, you know, they're putting me on, you know, their smear lists that their surrogates use. But the president has not had anything unkind to say directly. So, and the only text exchange was civil. So, and I told him, look, I just think it's a better choice, Mr. President. Not that you're a bad choice, but Ron DeSantis is the best choice. And I still believe that. I believe it more today than I did 6 months ago.
All right. Real quickly, again, I was trying to get a sense of where a lot of this money is going to go. A lot of it in the early states, you know, knocking on every door. In the case of Iowa, coming back 5 times to knock on those doors. But I was thinking of the money raised that it almost paralleled Jeb Bush's haul back in 2016. And we know what happened to him, that money doesn't necessarily buy you the prize. Are you worried about how the governor has tumbled in the polls against Donald Trump and that the party loyalists are really with Donald Trump and not Ron DeSantis?
So this is about votes, not dollars. Dollars are helpful to get a message out and to talk to people. And unlike any super PAC in history, we're building a massive ground game, not just in the first 4 states, Neil, but everything up through Super Tuesday. So we're going to be sharing the history of the governor and his accomplishments in detail with an already favorable Republican electorate. They love this guy. Even people who say today they would intend to vote for Donald Trump love Governor DeSantis because of everything he's accomplished and what a great fighter
Well, you know,
and leader
Donald Trump
he is.
has
So
said
there's an
Donald Trump
enormous
has said
upside
that a
there.
lot of that success in Florida, the governor inherited, has claimed that he's out of touch. You've heard the personality transplant thing. I've heard worse myself. But having said that, does it worry you that the former president has adequately framed the governor to the extent that he's got a lot of ground to make up, almost impossible ground to make up?
No, it isn't impossible ground at all. He hasn't even gotten into the race. We're a few hours short of that. I fully expect the governor to make steady progress. Okay. The more he shares his record of accomplishment, the more he's going to rise, and he will win. He will win this nomination. It isn't going to happen like that. It's going to be a building process and a getting to know the governor process. And the more people get to know him, the more voters are going to come to him. He's going to win this thing going away.
Real quickly on the debt thing going back and forth, the former president made clear in his interview on CNN that he was open to default, that if that's the only way Republicans can extract spending concessions out of Democrats, so be it. What is the governor's view on that subject?
Yeah. So the president was on both sides of the debt ceiling fight. And as he said, yeah, I'm a president. I don't want you to fight it. I'm not the president. Go ahead, fight it. And classical, principle-less approach. The governor has only spoken in favor of the Republican majority in the House's position. He hasn't really gone beyond that, and it's not my place to put words in his mouth, but I think a lot of us on the right are very supportive of what the House Republicans are doing right now, and they've shown the Democrats to be utterly irresponsible
in their lexicon.
This contest.
I'm sorry, Ken, we'll rush you here, but default is something the governor does not support. He doesn't agree with the former president on that.
Well, maybe he said something on that. Nobody wants to see a default, but that's in the hands of the Democrats right now. The Republicans have acted. Now it's up to the Democrats.
All right, we'll see what happens. Ken Cuccinelli, thank you. Good catching up with you.